our group and thankful, grateful that we've had the time that we've had with them, because their approach is easy to admire, and they're really enjoyable to be around. And so to end it in their home, to play their last home game and come out with a win against a really good team, I think is the way you want to script it. And these guys will speak to the emotion, but I found myself less emotional because we had the senior day. It just felt different, but maybe to them it felt different or felt more that way. But we were talking as a staff that having kind of 2 senior days kind of took some of that away. But I thought we weren't perfect, but I thought we did enough things well. Basco's a really good player. She's very good, and she caused us a lot of issues. Weber is a good guard as well, and they've got a good team. So I thought really from the end of the second quarter through the rest of the game, we kind of had just enough of a hold on it, and so that was good. And I think Morgan went over 2,000, so we just saw Connie in the locker room, and Connie wanted to know how close she was. Quickly reminded me that there was no three-point line when she played. But these two are incredible, and it was nice to have a good crowd out to watch them play for the last time in Sokol.
Open the floor to questions from the student athletes.
What were the emotions like? Were they different?
For me, I kind of felt it more pregame, like anthem lineup was more when I kind of noticed it, and then the end just like happened so fast. I couldn't really didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, it was more pregame for me too. Not necessarily during the day today, but when we went out for warm-ups, and especially when we came out for the last time at 5 minutes, I was kind of had to hold back some tears and lock back in, not think about it too much. And then, the end of the game, it happened so fast, and it was a competitive game for the majority of the time. And so, you get caught up in that emotion. But I'm glad we were able to have a little bit of separation, and so it didn't go too down to the wire there. But, yeah, definitely emotional for sure.
It looked like both of you guys kind of scanned a little bit when you were running off of the top. I know you got pulled away for an interview, but it looked like both of you kind of scanned a little bit. What did that moment mean to you? Just looking up and seeing everybody in the stands for your last home game.
Yeah, just soaking it in. Just to look around and see people that you've known for 4 years, 5 years, and just see them supporting you. It's cool.
Or if you need to go 11-0 in this building this season.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, it's crazy. I think that speaks to the work that we've done each and every day and the consistency that we've had. It's hard to have 24 wins and be 11-0 at home. And so it's been a fun ride, and I'm glad we were able to go out like that.
You went over 2002 for your career, going back to counting the Iowa points as well. What it means for the two of you to get that threshold together in the same game.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
You know that, Glenn?
I didn't know that.
Count the Iowa points.
Oh,
It's cool.
it's a career, Glenn.
Yeah. No, there wasn't many points, so it's okay. It's cool though. Yeah, I didn't know that. So we were actually talking about it earlier because we knew we were both close, and I knew she had me by a little bit. But I knew it was maybe a possibility. I got it first? Kidding. It's cool though. Yeah, I think it's rare to have two players on the same team to hit that milestone, especially so close together. And yeah, it's been really fun being able to play with her.
Sorry to keep harping on the Fields questions, but I don't know. A big part of you guys coming back was just because you wanted to play with each other some more, And so, all 5 of you that have the OG seniors checked out at the same time, standing ovation, hugs, the hug line with the coaches that have kind of been with you this whole time and helped you guys develop and all that. Did that hit any differently than it normally does?
Yeah, it definitely did. It's been so awesome to be able to play with all of them for 4 years. They're my best friends. Flan talked about playing with joy, going out there before the game, and we do that every time we play for each other, and they're truly the best to play with. It wouldn't be the same without them. And the crowd was great tonight. I think it's a testament to what we've done, what we've built here the past 4 years, what we've continued to build from previous players, and it's a really cool, special moment.
I know you guys still have business to take care of the rest of the way, obviously, but what has it meant to both of you to have this last run with each other with the senior class?
Yeah, it's special. You kind of get caught up in the day-to-day, and you kind of need others to maybe put it in your mind to just like soak it up and be present and just kind of know what's happening around you. Doesn't come very often, so it's just one day at a time.
Yeah, just trying to soak in the last moments. Like I said earlier, basketball isn't an individual sport, and that's what I love about it. It's a team game. You can't win with just one player. I've relied on my teammates so many times. I've said it before, but I wouldn't be as good if it wasn't for them. And so it's special, and just trying to be in the moment this last month of the season.
Or you also did crack the top 10 all-time Big East conference games. People kind of see that and go, well, Alberta's playing right now. You've only been here 4 years, so it isn't legit. I want to talk about
Yeah.
what's that mean? There's a lot of legends on that list. Your Red Bull,
Yeah.
what's that mean that joining the illustrious?
Thanks.
Yeah, it's really cool. The Big East is a great conference. I've been very blessed the past 4 years to be as healthy as I have been. Knock on wood, let's hope it continues. But it's really cool. That's something I don't take for granted, being able to suit up every game and to go out there and play with my teammates. And yeah, it'll be fun to continue that into the Big East tournament.
About this game in particular, I'm trying to pull you out of the fields a little bit. It seemed like, especially early, offense was hard to come by for whatever reason on both ends of the floor. Did it feel as difficult as it looked at times to score?
Yeah, they did a good job. I feel like our spacing and our timing of our actions wasn't great. I don't really know if it was us or them that changed the second half, but I just felt like the middle was more open. We hit cutters. We just had some good movement that allowed us to just play how we normally play.
The goal part of what you guys came back was obviously the unfinished business, kind of that way, the things you kind of haven't done in those tournaments, on the Big East tournament. How big of a deal is it that now it's here, and one of the goals that you guys came back for is kind of now right in front of you?
Yeah, we've always left Mohegan disappointed every year in my career. And so that's definitely an emphasis. It was one of our goals going into the season, and just being super locked in. I mean, everyone's playing their best basketball right now. Everyone knows each other really well, and so all the games are a battle no matter who you're playing. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, just taking it one game at a time. You know, it's a grind playing back to back to back, hopefully. But it should be fun. Should be a fun tournament.
Anything further for the student athletes? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. With the intensity pickup defensively, maybe?
I thought Keani did a really good job on Basco. I mean, I think Mal did a credible job, but I just think sometimes I think we put a lot on Mal defensively. She's, probably guarded posts from the time she was 8 or 9 or 10 years old, and she's definitely, her length is bothersome to a lot of guards, but Basco kind of just was. I thought she was really good tonight, and so we probably should have switched Keani onto her and had her play her more, maybe switched Kiani and Maly off and on her and tried to wear her down a little bit. But I thought Kiani took it upon herself to kind of up the intensity and make it difficult on her. And for the most part, I thought that was a big deal. And then, like Morgan said, I think that opened maybe some things. They had to work a little harder on offense, maybe open some things up for us on our offensive end.
What that last moment mean to you? Just to get them off the floor together, the win's kind of in the bag.
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah, I was hoping one of them. I was hoping to, it worked out. Mal hit a 3 to kind of put the Georgetown game on ice for us to sub them out, and I was right. I don't go down to the corner, but I went down to the corner, so I had a straight on view of the ball coming. I thought it was in when it left her hand, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a group that's easy, even though you coach them, it's easy to cheer for them too. I mean, I'm not always the easiest on them, but there's a lot there. They've, like Morgan said, they've put in the work too. I think that's the thing from the time that from the time that they're 9 or 10 years old, they've put the work in to get this good. And so you just feel good that they can kind of be recognized and feel what they got to feel tonight.
To do for coaching, you've got 2,000-point scores.
Yeah, it makes it easy, right? I mean, I've made the comment that these guys, this team coaches themselves probably more than any other team. I mean, you can be like, what do you, I couldn't tell you how many times I asked Morgan, what do you want to, what post up do you want? And and some of the same things with Lauren, where do you want the ball? Which ball screen action do you like? So you just trust them. What ball screen coverage do you guys like? What do you see? And you can't do that. I don't think I'll be able to do that next year with a much younger team. I'll be dictating what coverage they're going to be in or what action they're going to try to run. But yeah, it's fun that way, just because I feel like they get it and they're good with each other. I was biting Mal a little bit tonight when Basco got loose a couple times in that late third quarter, and just the way everybody lifts her back up is, I know I can do that because they're going to immediately lift her back up. And I do know that, but they've gotten really good at that, about picking each other up, whether I'm being hard on them or just, LJ can't make a 3 tonight. And so she's getting affirmation about some other things that she can do from her teammates.
Like you've talked about it all year, but now that this team has played its final home
Yeah.
game, it's obviously winding down the weeks at this point. What has this group meant to you, to this program, to kind of everything you guys do moving forward?
Yeah, I think their impact on the community and just, women's sports has taken off. Women's basketball has taken off in the last few years. I think that's neat, and I think this group has contributed to that. But they've also been in a good way. They've been able to take advantage of that. I told them last week we had a little booster event, and I had 2 men come up to me. One of them who labeled himself a chauvinist and said, I went to men's games for 20 years, and only in the last 3 years did I start coming to women's games, and now I'm a season ticket holder. I love coming to your games. And another guy who kind of told me the same thing. And then that night, Chris Gannon told me, or after one of our night games, Chris Gannon, our cross-country coach, told me that his four-year-old boy started crying when they made him go to bed before the end of the Creighton women's game. And I had a dad tell me that his daughters were so sad that they weren't going to get to see Jamie Horan play again in person. So I told them the next day, I said, look, you guys have made an impact on little girls, little boys, and chauvinists. And, you know, but, you know, I think that's jokingly, obviously, but also just the enormity of how many demographic groups that they have touched. It's not just little boys and it's not just little girls. It's, you know, a little boy went to bed crying because he couldn't watch the end of the game. And you know, I just think, again, I'm thankful that women's sports is on the rise because I think that certainly contributes to that. But just that piece of it, that kids would cry because they're not going to get to see Jamie play in person, I think is maybe the best testament that you could give somebody.
Is that this core senior group's legacy?
Yeah, I think so. I do. I think it's that they've drawn more people into our program and the humanity. You know, I mean, when I told that story, Jamie, you know, I saved the Jamie one, I think, for last, is like she's just, you know, she gets emotional and because this city and this program means something to her, and that's pretty cool. And Jamie isn't the star of our team, you know. I mean, I love the kid, but she's, you know, the two stars were sitting here, but the fact that she means that much to a couple girls is that's the world, right? That's so cool. And so just, I think they know that. I think our team knows that they've reached a lot of people, and just, you know, we had a professor, one of Maly and Kennedy's professors went on a trip to Yukon, and, you know, just to watch them talk to each other and just to think that he wanted to go on a trip with us is, you know, and with his wife, I thought that was really cool. So I just think that's a big piece of it. Yeah, they've won a lot of games, but I think they've also, they've made people think differently about women's sports, women's basketball, and Creighton women's basketball in particular.
In regards to your two stars, you know, the list that they're both on, I think there's only 11 or 12 players that have scored 1,200 points in conference games in the Big East history.
Wow.
And they're the only two set of teammates,
Wow.
which I guess is a testament to, like, someone scoring.
There's only one ball, too.
These two are always the last two to leave the practice before they work out.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
as competitive as they are. They're also kind of like each other's biggest supporters.
Right.
In the journey that they're kind of on. How unique is that to you to watch the way they've kind of, you know, developed together into
Yeah.
two star-level scorers without having to kind of be, you know, at
Right.
at a certain times?
Yeah, I think they've elevated each other's careers rather than made it more difficult on any way. I think, you know, they're both hard workers by nature, but they probably are 2% better or 4% better because, like you said, they want to stay in the gym just a little bit longer because, well, I think she probably wants to stay in the gym. So you know, I just think they build off each other. They push each other. Morgan is meaner to like. Morgan will occasionally snap at Lauren in practice, but then you watch Lauren in games. Lauren's been a little more reactive in games, but yeah, they're highly competitive. But then when practice is over, they're doing extra stuff to make sure that they're squeezing every bit of you know, excellence out of each other. You know, whatever they want the best. They want the best for this team, and yeah, they've worked really hard, and I mean, their shot making is elite, and you don't get that without the work that they've put in and pushing each other.
We've talked about it, I think, for 2 weeks now, at the beginning of last week, and then came out talking about it after the UConn game. Now that this group has played its last game here, what is that like for you to see where they were to where they are now? And a lot of it all went down on that court.
it's pretty cool because when you put together a recruiting class, people will compliment you, and as a staff, you'll throw around, I think this is a good, you don't know though, like you've been wrong so many times and not recruited the right people sometimes, but yeah, and then I think just so they are the greatest class we've ever had, and Lauren mentioned it. Health has factored into that. Like I think that's a big piece. I look at Jalen's class with Audrey Faber and Olivia Elger, and they just, it seemed like one of them was hurt a lot, and I don't think that class would have been quite as good. But health matters, and I think that's been a big piece of it. But yeah, I look back at that first summer of COVID, and when those guys were in the gym in masks, and our first road trip was, I think I've told you guys this, but their first college road trip was 4 hours in a bus to Cedar Falls, and the university required us to wear goggles and double mask. Okay, so we lost a really close game to Northern Iowa. These guys are freshmen, so we were going straight to South Dakota State, Brookings, 5-ish hours from Cedar Falls to Brookings. They wouldn't let us eat lunch on the bus, nor was there a restaurant. So we are, 3/5 of the way from Cedar Falls to Brookings on the Iowa-Minnesota border. We have to get out of the bus, and it's December 1st-ish, 40-mile-an-hour winds, 38 degrees, and they're eating their sandwiches in the parking lot of a gas station. Finish the trip to Brookings, lose that game, and then bus back from Brookings, double masked and goggles, and you can't see because that was their first road trip. And to think that what they've accomplished, that they stuck with it, but they've navigated that really well. They've been there for each other, and I think they're really thankful that they hung with it. And I've never asked them what their other options were over the time that they were here. I don't want to know, but I think it speaks to their love for one another that they're all still here. And I honestly think Emma would still be here if it wasn't for her sister. I mean, she could have gone a lot of places. I mean, we had calls from I know she's not making at Colorado State what she could have made from some of the people who reached out when she went in the portal for one day. So.
Any further questions for Coach Flannery?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. I got nowhere to be.
Yeah, since you brought up Emma, I just
Yeah.
think it's appropriate because, it was a very special circumstance, the reason that she's not here today.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like what she meant to this group and helping you create the stories that you ended up sharing in the locker room the other day, how much they meant to the community.
Yeah, Emma's a big part of that. I hope she feels that way. I know she does, because I got a birthday text from her, a few weeks ago, and Maly was telling some story about Emma had texted her, flipping her crap about something, and just like she's not an outsider now. She's still there, and I want her to do well, because I think she poured her heart into that group, and I think she'll always they'll always these five plus Brooke and Sydney didn't play with her, but I think they'll always consider her part of that.
You guys have been in a weird position the last 4 years where you've been a lock for the NCAA tournament as you sit and wait selection week out, but you've also been angry because you left Mohegan earlier than you
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what's your anticipation level for the last time they're going to play in this tournament together, considering
Yeah.
It just sticks in their craw that they haven't made it to the championship game.
Yeah, I think I'm sure it's a motivator. I think it's tough, you know, I felt like, you know, we played the 9:30 game, you know, so many years. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, that's why we can't win that second day, is we don't get off the court till midnight. And then last year we got to play the early game against the team that played the 9:30 game, and we still lost. So, yeah, hopefully we're ready to go. I think we will be. I think this team is, you know, I think the beauty of it is, you know, Morgan and Lauren were up here, but, you know, I said I thought Kiani was a big piece of why we won tonight. So it's not, you know, the more ways you can win, the more success you can have in a conference tournament. I think where it's 1, 2, 3, because it's not Morgan isn't going to maybe make as many baskets as she did tonight, but Lauren's probably going to make a few threes that she didn't make tonight. So I do think we have potentially more ways to win than maybe we've had, but you're still going to have to navigate the nerves, I think. You know, once you get to postseason, I don't care, it's NCAA tournament or conference tournament, there's a slight heightening of nerves. I think it goes up for the conference tournament, and then it goes up another little bit for the NCAA tournament, because that's just the nature of it. It's just there's just a little bit more at stake, or a lot more at stake in the case of the NCAA tournament.